really wish to talk about the dynamics of healing and why you all still feel, no matter how much healing you have already done, you feel like there's always a little bit more, that you always need to be a little bit better. Now, is that a dynamic of the expansion of consciousness, or is that a negative ego slash, you know, let's just call it a negative ego dynamic? We don't want to get too much into putting labels on things, especially in this series, because it is important that you realize that when you put labels on things, you cease to define them. You make judgments, and judgments are things that freeze things into place. So, if you realize that your whole life is a series of assessments, and that especially you guys who are here and amongst this group, and you are meant to teach others this at certain points in your life when you completely, not completely, but when you understand it enough, you will be able to see that this is a life's journey. This particular journey that you are on is probably as different as the next one you're going to choose. Because generally speaking, you're being given this information not in any sort of frivolous way, but you're being given this information to be able to not preach SOTU, but to preach truth, to be able to incorporate what you have learned and what you learn through each other and through us, to be able to take that dynamic to whatever belief you are holding, to be able to adjust your parameters, your status quo, to be able to accept new and expanded ideas. For you, humanity is evolving, humanity is transforming, humanity is awakening. And you all are amongst the forefront, and those that will be listening to this in the future will be amongst the forefront of people that are shifting and changing. Already, you can see so much that is in movement right now. Already, you can see that more and more things are chaotic and are polarized. And that's a kind word,
Mm.
we think, because the reality now is going to keep going in that direction because everyone, even the NPCs, are are being challenged, are being forced into a certain alignment, as are all of you. The thing about it is that you have a certain knowledge when you are mm, feeling the influences, feeling the dynamics of the intense cosmic rays that have been hitting the planet for the past 3 months, or the dynamics of the expansion and the high degree of sun activity, and then an abatement of it, so that right now you're at a minimum of that dynamic of energy. So, if you're not taking vitamin D, we would suggest that you do, because it is the energy, the solar energy that you usually absorb. If you've noticed, most of you live in very gray, dark places. This winter has been very dark and very gray. Maybe not in California, but certainly the whole East Coast has been, and Florida. Some of you just choose to live in paradise. What can we say? Reality has to sneak up on you in other ways. All right. All right. So, The point that we're trying to make here is that you have that dynamic of empowerment within each and every one of you. You know, it would be very nice to be able to say that the divine has your best interest at heart, but you can't. What kind of divine? What is your idea of the divine? It seems to us that the things that you long for are peace, enough for all, peace for yourself, the ability to give and receive love without the dynamic of threat and fear, because some people have some stuff and other people have nothing. There is a dynamic at play here where you, as a species, are being asked to move to the next level of consciousness, the next level of awareness, where have you all heard of Awe Dream? Adrian's now going to just SOTU is talking about Awe Dream. Yes, SOTU. Well, or we can say that Adrian brought this through from Awe Dream a good number of years ago, decades ago.
Mm.
And you know what we're talking about, don't you?
Healed and whole humanity.
Yeah.
That is, I don't
See,
know which
see how
specific.
much she can resurrect.
I
But
don't,
this is important, Adrian.
but I don't remember which specific piece.
What are we talking about?
Um, Healing, and you were talking about the divine and what divine are we believing has our best interest at heart, and
Well,
so that is an
did
open
not All
door.
Dreams say something to you about why you're here?
To yes,
It's
yes,
kind of
yes,
like
yes, yes,
kind
yes,
of like
yes.
pulling teeth, you know.
Yes, she did.
And what did she say?
We're here to assist an adolescent God in growing up. Is that close enough?
That's perfect. Now we're just going to let that sink in for a moment or two. So, there's obviously a dynamic of expansion going on. There's a dynamic of expansion going on that is a step beyond the understanding of God, Goddess, all that is, the understanding of the divine. And the question really is, as you get into it, and we're not going to give you the answer today because we would wish you to find that connection, that heart connection with, let us call it source. Let's not even call it the divine. Let's call it source.
Mm-hmm.
And that your connection with that source will begin to move you and the steps necessary without any effort other than going to this space, sitting in this space quietly and allowing the inspiration, allowing the feelings, allowing the dynamic to just be what it is. Now, there is a little bit of a danger that your negative ego could get in there, but not really. If you take 3 to 5 deep breaths before you do it, and you clear your mind, and you set your intent to find your connection, you will be drawn right to it. So just allow. We're keeping it very simple. We do have an exercise for you. each of you. Before next weekend, we would like you to give us 5 examples of beliefs that you believe hold you back. And then we would like you to give us 5 examples of beliefs that you have, that each of you has. Own it for yourself. That moves you forward. Well, we've got to give you something to do. So, um, that's good. That's a very good thing.